Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a Tuesday's tips on whether you should purchase print or digital from Gather Round Homeschool. One of the most common questions that I see in the app and over really more in like the Facebook group for Gather Round is this question of, do I buy print? Do I buy digital? What do I do? And so I'm here to kind of help you. Now, I'm not going to tell you one is better or worse than the other. It all depends on the size of your family's budget, your access to printers and laminators and print shops, all of those things. What I am going to give you though is a little bit of a breakdown of the pricing between all of the different options and just a couple of things to note as you are considering making a purchase from Gather Round Homeschool. I do also want to let you guys know that if you are interested in using Gather Round, this week, right now, is their annual back to school sale as well as their convention. So I will leave the all of that information. I'll leave a link down in the description. I'm not going to get into the details of the sale because there's just some variation depending on what you're getting and not getting and things like that. So, and Rebecca created like a whole kind of flyer for you so that it breaks it down very nicely and you know what you need or don't need. So I will just leave that in the description for you guys. That way you can access it and have it if you need to reference it or anything like that. So what I'm going to give you today is going to be just their standard prices. And like I said, it's going to be kind of a breakdown between print prices versus digital prices. A couple of notes here before we start. I did write all of this down, so you guys will probably see me looking down because I want to make sure I get numbers and things right. But first thing, this is another big thing that I see on all of the Gather Round sites and things like that is, where do I start? Wherever you want to. I understand that, you know, every curriculum is a little bit different. Some of them you have to start at a certain place and go in a certain order. Gather Round does not work that way. There are year 1, year 2, and year 3 units, and it is sectioned that way, but that is strictly just the year that those units were written and produced. So they do not have to go in any particular order. So literally you can start wherever you want to. One thing to note, again, with the different years is they have changed and Gather Round units have evolved as the years have gone by. So their very first unit, North American Birds, is going to look very different from their very latest chemistry unit. And that's just because they have taken criticisms and pointers and likes and dislikes from users of the curriculum and have really tried to mold the curriculum to something that their customers really like and really want to use, and they're kind of trying to meet those needs. So just something to keep in mind if you try a year 1 unit and you're thinking, you know, there's something missing here, or I really wish it had this or that, then maybe try a year 2 or a year 3 unit and just kind of see if maybe that fills in some of those gaps that you're thinking maybe you need. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe you want something that's just kind of light and simple that doesn't really have a lot of really heavy work. Then maybe look at some of those some of the older units, some of those year 1 units, because I have noticed those tend to be a little bit lighter. So again, just something to note. Also, another thing to keep in mind, the letters and numbers and the ready to read programs are completely separate. I did not include those in the pricing here. The letters and numbers program is more of like their preschool program, letters and numbers, so they're learning letters and numbers. And then Ready to Read is more of like the kindergarten, first grade, where they are learning to read. So I did not include those. Again, those are completely separate. One other thing to note, or just kind of to let you guys know, I do purchase digital, and I purchase the one student bundle, and that's because I only have one child, and it is still more cost effective for me to purchase that bundle twice than it is to buy the family bundle. And you'll see that here when we start going through some of the numbers. Digital options, so that you have a main unit and you have mini units, is how I have them broken up. Your main units are just that. They are the units that you see in year 1 and year 2. They're oceans, they're psychology, dinosaurs. All of those are what I'm considering their main full units. The mini units are Indigenous peoples, U.S. History 1, 2, 3, 4, Underground of Canada, those, and they are labeled as mini units. There are differences between the two. That's another thing. I can do another video on that if you guys want some further explanation there. We are starting with some numbers. Grab a pen and paper. I will wait. Do 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 do. Hopefully you have pen and paper. So we will go through main units first. So the full family bundle, I think that's what it's called, the full family bundle, that's going to be your teacher's guide and all of the levels of the student notebook. So from pre-reader all the way up to high school in digital form, that is, and this is in US dollars, $54.94 per unit, okay? The one student bundle, okay, that's going to be your teacher's guide and one student level. So one book, or you're doing digital, so you could print, you know, if you have 2 kids in the same level, you could print 2 of them, but you're only getting one level of the student notebook. That is going to be $19.95. Okay, so those are for your main units in the digital form. Now, to get those in print, this does not include shipping. Shipping is going to vary widely depending on where you are and all of those things. So this price does not include shipping. Your main units, okay, you're going to purchase the teacher's guide. That is going to be $30. Okay, and then each student notebook that you will need will be $25. So if you need an early reader and you also need a middle school, that would be $50. You would purchase the early reader for $25 and the middle school for $25. Yes, so that would give you $50 plus your teacher's guide for your $30. Okay, so that's your price difference between digital and print for main units. Now let's go to mini units just while we're here. Mini units, they only come in digital form. It only comes in the family bundle. There is no one student book option for digital. If you're buying a mini unit, you're getting all of the levels. And that price is $39.95. And then if you're doing print comes in a teacher's guide, which is $20, and then your student notebooks. With this one, you would purchase each level of student notebook that you would need, and those are $15 a piece. Now, each unit has different add-ons, and they vary. Some of them are $10.95, some of them are $6. It really depends on the add-on, what it is, all of that kind of stuff. And so it's really hard to kind of, you know, for me to calculate those things for you depending on what you want and need. And some of the add-ons are only available in print. So something else to keep in mind. As you're looking into these units and you're seeing some of these add-ons, just keep in mind that they may only be available in print. So something to consider as far as shipping is concerned. Maybe for that unit, you would just get the whole unit in print, or forego the add-on and just do the digital. Again, just depending on your budget and your family's needs. As of right now, the year bundles are available on the website. So you can purchase year 1 and 2 either in digital or in print. And then you can pre-order year 3. And the reason why it's still pre-order is because year 3 is not actually complete. So there are some units that have not been written and or completed yet. And so it's not technically a full year purchase yet. You're pre-ordering those last couple of units in year 3. But it is currently available for you to purchase. That price, it doesn't vary much as far as digital and print are concerned for one student. And I won't get into all of the numbers there, but for digital, and quite honestly, I didn't pull it up and really look into it, but from what I just kind of briefly saw, for digital, it's $500 for $549.50. And then for print for one student was $500 and $550. I'll get it together eventually. But again, that print price was only for one student. And that is not taking into consideration the sale that's happening right now. Those are just base prices that are currently listed on their website. Hopefully that kind of helps you guys. I think it's important to also, if you don't have a printer at home, I think it's important to get with your local print shop, whatever you use, Office Max, Office Depot, whatever you use, get their pricing, see how much it would actually cost you to get things printed, laminated, bound, all of that. Personally, I went ahead and just invested in the Epson EcoTank because I didn't want to have to worry about not having enough ink and printers and all of that kind of stuff. We had an HP prior and I couldn't print half of a teacher's guide on one ink cartridge. And it was like $50 for a pack of ink, and it was insanely expensive for me to have that HP printer. And that may have just been the model that we had, I don't know, but I was so frustrated with it. I told my husband, we're just gonna get the EcoTank and then we don't have to worry about it. You know, we can print whatever. If I make a mistake or something prints sideways or whatever, it's not a big deal. We'll have plenty of ink. And then I also invested in the Swingline ProClick is the binding system that I use. And that, of course, was a little bit more money up front, but it has served me well. I like them both. I'm sure there are pros and cons to different things, and everybody has kind of their own thoughts on printers and binding systems. That's what I use. It's what I like. It works, and so we just go with it. But those are things to just kind of take into consideration when thinking, do you want to buy print or do you want to buy digital? It's more than just the cost of the actual curriculum from the company. If you're doing digital, how are you going to print it? How much is it going to cost? All of that stuff you need to take into consideration, as well as how many students do you have, or how many children do you have? Will you be able to maybe recycle these? So that was my thought initially with the family bundle, was I'll buy the family bundle and then I'll have every level. So it won't matter what level my daughter is, because I'll have all of them and we can just use them as we need to. But like I mentioned before, it's actually more cost effective for me just to buy the one student, at the time that she needs them, than it is to spend the $55 to get all of the levels, because we're not going to use them that many times, and I don't have another student or another child that's going to come back behind her and maybe need different levels or things like that. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will be more than happy to help if at all possible. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.